All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to start off by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Chakodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles, the great Muslim of well, peace and blessings to the elect of Israel. Shalom and above all. Back at it with another lesson through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai. Lord willing, this video is edifying. All right. And this is a lesson that's, pretty much, I'm saying, Abarazazad direct, straight to the point. This is a news article, all right, from End Time Headlines. And it says, Henry Groover, when Israel sends troops into Gaza, it will be a sign the Middle East war has started, man. All right, the Middle East war. All right. And it says right here, it says, opinion, ETH, End Time Headlines. Did we just cross a major prophetic threshold? On Thursday, something that Henry Groover once said kept coming up in my spirit. This was before I learned that Israeli troops had entered Gaza. I knew that they were massing on the border, but it wasn't clear if they were going to go in or not. Of course, now they have crossed the border and the fighting is intense. Many Americans will continue to ignore the developments in the Middle East because the fighting does not directly affect them. That's right. And that's why the scriptures talk about what? How Babylon dwelt carelessly. All right. Let me get this scripture real quick. Okay. This is Isaiah 47, starting at verse 7. And thou saidest, I shall be a lady forever, so that thou didst not lay these things to thy heart, neither didst remember the latter end of it. You didn't lay the things to your heart, Babylon. You didn't think about how you oppress the Most High's people, and your poison and philosophy destroys the whole world. It says, therefore hear now this, thou that are given the pleasures, that dwellest carelessly. Yeah, these Babylonians dwell carelessly, man. All right. They don't have to worry about rocket strikes being sent on their neighborhoods and stuff like that, like these other nations do. Okay. Because Babylon is dwelling carelessly. That's why it's known as the virgin daughter of Babylon. All right. It says, therefore hear now this, thou that are given to pleasures, that dwellest carelessly, that sayest in thine heart, I am, and none else besides me. I shall not sit as a widow, neither shall I know the loss of children. Yeah. Okay. Like it says right here. Many Americans will continue to ignore the developments in the Middle East because the fighting does not directly affect them. I shall not be a widow, and I shall not sit as a widow. I shall not know the loss of children. It says, but these two things shall come to thee in a moment, in one day. And it's spiritual because, what this guy, he got two fingers. Hey, these two things are going to come upon Babylon in one moment, in one day, man. And what is that? It says, the loss of children and widowhood, they shall come upon thee in their perfection for the multitude of thy sorceries and for the great abundance of thine enchantments. All right. So that's the point of that right there. All right. And that is going to come via the missiles. But anyway, I'm going to continue. All right. It says, but those that study Bible prophecy understand that this has the potential to develop into something really, really big. In 2018, Henry Groover issued a prophetic warning that appears to have been just fulfilled. According to James Bailey, he was told that when Israel sends troops into Gaza, it will be a sign the Middle East war has started. Israel has had ongoing conflicts with Gaza since President George Bush's administration forced them to evacuate the city and hand it over to the Palestinians in 2005. But there are two reasons why the coming conflict might be a prelude to a larger war. First, a prophetic warning received by Henry Groover in 2018 remains unfulfilled. The Lord told, this is what they say apparently, the Lord told Henry, when Israel sends troops into Gaza, it will be a sign the Middle East war has started. Israeli forces had not gone into Gaza since. Henry Groover issued that warning so that prophecy had remained unfulfilled until right now. To me, I think that it is very noteworthy that the term the Middle East war was used. And I think so as well. Okay. And, through the spirit, I'm going to go ahead and bring out the scripture that comes to mind. All right. This is Revelation. Revelation chapter 16. I'll start at verse 16. Actually, I'll start at verse 12. So like Revelation 16 and 12. And the sixth angel poured out his vial upon the great river Euphrates, and the water thereof was dried up, that the way of the kings of the east might be prepared. Yeah, so the Lord, he's working on the minds of the kings of the east to help bring forth what? World War III. Okay. And it says, verse 13, and I saw three unclean spirits like frogs come out of the mouth of the dragon, out of the mouth of the beast, and out of the mouth of the false prophet. All right, and that goes into those three city states, DC, you have England, okay, and then you have the Vatican. All right, and then it says, for they are spirits of devils working miracles, which go forth unto the kings of the earth and the whole world, and to gather them to the battle of that great day of the almighty power. Behold, I come as a thief. Blessed is he that watcheth and keepeth his garments, lest he walk naked, and they see his shame. Yeah, all right. Walk, meaning spiritual. Okay, you got to spiritually keep your garments. It says, and he gathered them together into a place called, in the Hebrew tongue, Armageddon, or Hamargadwan, which means mountain of the troops, man. And that's gonna be the midst of World War III. All right, so that's the point of that right there. Okay, now I'm gonna go ahead and read on. But like it says, you know, marking on the minds of the king, that the way of the kings of the east might be prepared. All right, it says, that would seem to imply something that ultimately would be much larger than just a conflict between Israel and Hamas. Will Hezbollah get involved? Will Israel and Iran go to war soon? I don't have the answers to those questions, but we should all be watching developments very carefully. Well, through the Spirit, the scriptures gives us the answers, and the scriptures say that these nations, you know, Israel, Iran, so on and so forth, these nations will go to war. All right. It says, now that the Israeli military has entered Gaza, I believe that there will be an effort to crush Hamas and Islamic Jihad for good. If Hamas and Islamic Jihad are out of the way, that could clear a path for Mahmoud Abbas and Fatah to take total control of the Palestinian people. All right, it says, as I discussed in an earlier article, Israel was never going to negotiate a permanent peace agreement with the Palestinians as long as Hamas was running Gaza. But if Hamas was no longer a problem, we could finally see the two-state solution that the globalists have been promoting for such a long time. All right, and the scriptures say there is no peace to the wicked, saith the Lord. You know, roughly paraphrase it. So it ain't gonna be no peace trees, man. All right, it's only gonna get worse. These are the beginning of sorrows, you know, beginning of these birth pains, so to speak, man. All right, them contractions of that baby, man, they're just starting. You know, it says in my latest book, I share lots of prophecies from men and women of the Most High that have been shown that someday the U.S. will have a hand in formally dividing the land of Israel, and that the Most High will divide our country along the New Madrid fault as a result. Now, you know, that's the thing where you got to take the meat from the bones, because a lot of these people, you know, they dip into prophecy to a certain degree, but at the same time, you know, you got a couple false prophets too. All right. Just to keep in mind, you know, just throwing that out there. It says now, if all the pieces are coming together, the Palestinians were never going to deal with Trump, but now he is out of office, and the Israelis were never going to deal as long as Hamas was in control of Gaza. But now that could be about to change. Needless to say, that Biden administration has been very vocal about the need for a two-state solution. It says, and once this current war is over, the entire globe will be clamoring for a permanent solution in the Middle East. All right. It says war is going to be horrible, and then the solution to the war is going to be horrible. But we were warned about all these things ahead of time. The land of Israel will be divided, and sometime after that, the United States will literally be physically divided into two. That's what they're saying, right? It says, sadly, most believers have never heard about any of this because their churches don't talk about these things at all. So we need to do our best to sound the alarm, because the world needs to know that the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob is still in charge today. And that's true. He is still telling us from the end, from the beginning, as the scriptures say. All of human history has been building up to a grand crescendo, and we're extremely blessed to be living at this extremely critical time in human history. And that's true. You know, it also says that in the book of Ezra, you know. Let me get that scripture, Lord willing. And the scriptures also say, blessed are your eyes, for they see, you know. It's 2nd Ezra 13:24. It says, "Know this, therefore, that they which be left behind are more blessed than they that be dead." You know, because hey, we're seeing these prophecies being fulfilled. It says prophecy is being fulfilled right in front of our eyes. I believe that global events will continue to accelerate throughout the rest of 2021. All right. Now, this is a book that they did, but pretty much, man, Babylon will be divided into 10 FEMA districts. That is biblical prophecy, like the scripture say, the 10th part of the city in the book of Revelation. But as far as, these countries going on and prospering, man, and finding a peace treaty solution and all the other stuff, man, that's not coming, man. All right, war is coming, man. All right, that's what's coming. So through the Spirit, I just wanted to grab a couple scriptures. It's just a little World War III prophecy update. Nothing too long, if you will, if the Most High allows. This is Joel chapter 3. Starting at verse 1, "For behold, in those days and in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem, I will also gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat, and will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land." Right. So that's the point of that right there. They parted the Lord's land. They cast lots on the Lord's people and his land. All right. So the Lord's saying, look, I'm going to gather all the nations, and I'm gonna bring them down to the valley of Jehoshaphat, man. All right, which is in the Middle East. This is Joel 3 and verse 9. "Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles," referring to the heathen, "prepare war. Wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near. Let them come up. Be your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say I am strong." And that's what's happening. These different nations, they're putting their funds into their military, and the weak, meaning these different nations who were under Babylon, they're starting to say that they're strong, man. Why? Because they have that great equalizer, which is the nuclear missiles. All right. It says, "Assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about thither. Cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Lord." All right. "Let the heathen be wakened and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat. For there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about." Yeah, because Yahushua, he's going to come back in the midst of World War III, man. All right. In the heat of the battle. "Put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe." That's Yahushua coming back, because scripture tell you in Revelation 14 how that Yahushua is coming back to reap the earth. Put the sickle in the earth and reap. All right. It says, "Come, get you down, for the press is full, the fats overflow, for the wickedness is great. Multitudes in the valley of decision, for the day of the Lord is near in the valley of decision. The sun and the moon shall be darkened, and the stars shall withdraw their shining," because the missiles are going to black out the sky. It says, "And the Lord also shall roar out of Zion and utter his voice from Jerusalem, and the heavens and the earth shall shake, but the Lord will be the hope of his people and the strength of the children of Israel." That's right. All right. That's a point on that right there. All right. I'm going to read this right here. Verse 17. "So shall you know that I am the Lord Yahweh, dwelling in Zion, my holy mountain. Then shall Jerusalem be holy, and there shall be no stranger pass through her anymore." Meaning what? In the kingdom, which is coming after World War III, all right, you heathen, you're not going to pass through our land anymore, meaning that you heathen are not going to take over our land like you've done in the past. All right, so that's really just a little lesson I wanted to bring out through the Spirit. Abaratazada's video is edifying. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua, Ba'ashem, Machakadash. Double honor to the elders and apostles, a great Muslim that were well, peace and blessings to the elect of Israel. Shalom and above all.